what I would recommend is, if people feel that, is to read the translation which I've started putting on the website of the first volume, La Patrie Interdite, The Forbidden Homeland. And that's where you get the background of his life before the exile, as he puts it. This book starts with the exile, the beginning of his exile. And it has many incidents which relate to Wales as well, but this one more so. The first time he came to Wales was in 1937 for Congress in Cardiff, and I found some correspondence where he, which in my grandfather's papers, where he writes to his parents and says how wonderful and how much he appreciated the Welsh people, but he found the food was dreadful. But I must say, since I've been here, it's been very nice. It's obviously changed. But he then came, as you know, as a refugee, seeking the protection, really, and the help of the Welsh people, which they gave unstintingly. And we have some members of family of people who helped him, such as Mellery and Menhir and Delwyn Phillips's sister and niece, who also have many things to remember of that time when he was here. The rest of the Welsh period is very important, and it does take up at least a third of the book, for those of you who may think, oh, it's just about La Maison in Connemara. That's not the case. A third of the book is on the period in Wales, and he has nothing but wonderful things to say about all the people who helped him. The other thing that I would say is that I actually started translating it for the family, because most of us, as somebody pointed out in an article, my father and his very Irish children, we were brought up in the west of Ireland, and the family has scattered all over the world, and are, some of them, not even French speaking. And I thought it was such a shame that they wouldn't be able to read all about their father, grandfather, well, not their father. Although my sister Olwen, when she was younger, had always said to my father, I can't read the books, it's too hard for me. You know, her French, she was the only one who was allowed to get away with not speaking French. And but now she can, but the grandchildren and great-grandchildren now. So that's how I started doing it, and I tried to summarize what I thought might be the boring bits. And my father wasn't happy. He said, no, no, no. He said, you're doing this properly. And he made me, go back over the first bit that I had done and hadn't done the full bit. So that's really basically all I can say. It's a very nice publication done by a publishing company in Ireland, Old Chapel Press. Unfortunately, the publisher, Anthony Previte, isn't able to be here tonight, but he would have very much liked to be. And he has our website details here on the inside cover, as well as his, where the book can be ordered. And what else can I tell you about it? I don't think there's much more, but what I will do is read a few little passages from it. Please tell me when my 10 minutes are up, because I'm no good with, I'm not used to this, not like Irwin and Daffyd. So I just wanted to start off with how the family first came. And my father says, amongst the Breton refugees already in Wales, I was the only one who had a family to care for. Marie-Madeleine refused to leave any of the children behind when she came to join me. The problem was only resolved through the help of Gwynfor and Rhiannon Evans. They lived in Wernelin, a large farmhouse in the countryside of Llangadog. Their home was larger than that of any of our other Welsh friends. They offered to take in Marie-Madeleine and the children, at least on a temporary basis, until a better and more definite solution could be found. At the time, Gwynfor and Rhiannon already had 3 children, of more or less the same age as ours, Alcuin, David, and baby Mallory. The burden they were proposing to take on was a heavy one, as all at once it doubled the size of their family. From my side, I was only able to offer them a small contribution towards the extra expenses incurred by the presence of Marie-Madeleine and the children. I was also fully aware that this was an offer which many couples, even amongst our own families, would hesitate to make, and that it was all the more generous and commendable of them. And that is how we ended up coming, and there's carries on about myself and John going to Bethlehem School. That's how we ended up speaking Welsh so well. So that was that bit about. And then I just wanted to mention also the time when he was threatened with extradition, and the first time he left Wales to go to a congress with Gwynfor, and he tried to come back in a different way, but when on his way back, he had given Delwyn Phillips as a reference, and he said Delwyn had received a visit from the Birmingham police wanting to know where I was. He tried to keep them waiting for several days, but finally decided to warn me, advising me to leave again as soon as possible, as a deportation order would be brought against me if I was not found. And then he goes on to say, what Delwyn Phillips had not been told, however, was that the Home Secretary had already signed the deportation order. And I was still shaving the following morning when the inspector arrived, accompanied by a police car and a guard in uniform with some of his colleagues from the local police. A deportation order has been issued against you, he told me. I've been sent to enforce it, and I'm unable to do otherwise than to arrest you and escort you to the border. Which border? I asked him. Undoubtedly the French border, he told me, as your passport is a French one. If you do, you will be deliberately throwing me into the lion's mouth. I was about to leave again for Ireland, which I have just come from when you arrived. I explained my true situation to him, as there was no longer any point in hiding it, and I asked to be considered as a political refugee. It's not up to me, he told me, and I have no authority to make any decisions on that score. And so it goes on, and I did not believe him, of course, knowing the close links and exchanges of information between the police. While I continued to get ready, I asked Marie-Madeleine to telephone Gwynfor Evans in Llangadog immediately, to let him know the situation and to ask him if he could come over urgently. He was only a few kilometers from Treguib, because at that stage we'd moved to Treguib. I delayed my preparation as long as I could until the police inspector lost his patience in the end, reminding me that we had a train to catch for London. I held Marie-Madeleine close in my arms, trying to reassure her. Meanwhile, the children, except for baby Erwan, had left for school. The police car taking me had just started down the avenue leading to the road when Gwynfor appeared, coming from the opposite direction. He stopped his car right in the middle of the pathway, thus forcing the car I was in to stop. He introduced himself to the police inspector and renewed the protest I had already made against my deportation. Finally, shortly after my departure, Rhiannon came to replace Gwynfor alongside Marie-Madeleine. And once back home, he got to work immediately, alerting the press and the Welsh parliamentarians he knew personally.